Cadorette versus Levan Saginashvili.
I think Levan is way too powerful and can beat Jerry in his regular style. I think there's a chance that Jerry gets his arm injured. If Levan hits with that type of aggression sideways, I think it's too much. If Levan tries a different style, who knows? I predict Levan 4-0. But if Jerry sets his shoulder and stops the match and Levan tries to pull through it, that's the only round it takes, and then Jerry wins everything. Levan will either foul out or stretch his bicep one round. Then Jerry gains confidence, feeds off the American crowd, and wins. But I don't think that will happen. Levan will likely dominate. If I pulled Levan and stopped him like Devon, then if I couldn't pin him, I would bleed him enough to press him eventually. When I pull outside, I tire my bicep, forearm, lats, hand, and wrist. But if I'm pressing, those muscles are fresh. If you're tiring those same muscles, you're vulnerable to the press. I'll time it, and when your arm and hand are shot, I'll flash press you. Maybe I can even open with a press. People say I need stricter form, a closer triangle. I'm 51 and want to beat Levan. I have 2 years. If I beat Ermes and Levan beats Jerry, I'll face Levan in the spring of 2025.
Brian Shaw versus Eddie Hall.
I worked with Eddie in 2022, showing him back pressure and pronation. He seemed to forget it all when practicing with Brian. Then Neil Pickup got back with him, and it came back. Initially, I thought Eddie might get hurt. Brian's been training a year, and all the different advice might confuse him, whereas Eddie has a simple outside top roll and a transition to a press. I originally thought Brian was a heavy favorite, but now it's closer to 60-40 for Brian. Eddie is big. We are the same height. He's 6'3" and 353 and 60 pounds with abs. He's jacked, but he looks small next to Brian. Brian is 6'8" and over 400 pounds. He's a different animal. Brian is built differently. He built his frame with powerlifting and strongman. I'm excited they're both in arm wrestling. I'm excited to see what comes next.
Gabriela Vasconcelos versus Barbora Baichieva.
Gabby was close the first time, but what Barbora did to Egla was shocking, and what Eagle did to Sarah Backman before that. Barbora is younger and likely stronger, but Gabby is thicker. I asked if that size was for Barbora, and she said yes. She's been training non-stop. I think Gabby might be the dark horse, maybe even the favorite. It's hard to bet against Barbora, who's amazing, but I'm a fan of Gabby.
Sandris Shedis versus Rustam Babayev.
I think Sandris is amazing. Sandris looks great at that lighter weight, and he looks bigger. It would be an exciting match. I think Rustam could win a war. He's done 8-minute matches. Sandris's long levers might fatigue him, but Rustam's short levers are hard for Sandris to deal with if he gets hooked. I'd say it's 50-50. It's a 5'7" versus 6'5" guy. That's fun.
Lachlan Adair versus Lars Rerbakken.
I think Lars's press is the most formidable asset that he has. It's phenomenal, but I think Lars is going to stop the match in an open top roll.
Matt Mask versus Marcio Barboza.
Historically, Matt has a big advantage because of his long levers and hand, but Marcio looks really good, except against Jordan Sonev. So it's 50-50. Marcio will have the hometown crowd being in New Jersey, which will be an advantage.
Corey West versus Tobias Sporong.
I think a lot of people are underestimating Corey, which I don't know why. I think Tobias is faster, but Corey's gonna slip. In the strap, I think Corey is stronger. Can he stop Tobias's hit? Tobias can hit from multiple angles. On paper, Tobias is a 55-45 favorite, but I think Corey wins.
Paul Linn versus Krasimir Kostadinov.
I think Paul Linn is a 70-30 favorite. Most people won't agree, since Krasimir is the reigning world champ and just beat John. But Paul has a hunger and fight you rarely find. He's special. Krasimir is a multi-time world champ, phenomenal and disciplined, but I think he'll run into someone stronger in Paul. We've seen Paul take Sasho to the pad twice and almost win the third. But he might gas if the matches go long. If you need to pin 4 times to win, maybe it becomes closer to 60-40, but Paul is still favored.
Kevin Palko versus Joseph Moranto.
Palko is definitely going to go for a hook because that's his preferred style. It's going to be an exciting match. Palko thinks his hook is pretty solid. He's an impressive little dude with a very impressive looking arm.